What up, pimps? Labursky here. Today I am very eager to talk with you about The Penguin. It just wrapped up all 8 episodes on HBO Max or I don't know, whatever they call that thing now. And I finished it and I'm very excited to discuss my thoughts on it. Quite frankly, I would say this is probably in the like my top 5 favorite shows of all time now. Truly, like outside of any sort of comic book property, even though it's up there, top three, easy. Like this to me this is like up there with like Breaking Bad, Sopranos, um, Better Call Saul, and I would say maybe the only things that I guess the only thing that makes it not trump those shows is that we don't have 5 seasons of The Penguin, so I mean, The Sopranos, Breaking Bad, they have 5, 6 seasons, and throughout the entire show, it was pretty consistent and really solid. Here, we only have 1 season, which I think is a pretty tight knit show. Like, I don't know if I even want a second season, to be honest. I, um, I don't know. I'm really happy with this 1 season. If they don't do anything else with it, I'm okay with that. If they do make a second season, I'm definitely gonna watch it and I'll be excited for it. But I'm not eager necessarily. Like I want with this creative team, I want them to explore more villains in this Reeves verse, Batman verse, which I think now they're calling like the Epic Crime Saga. It's a pretty cool name. I like that. Um, I want to see what's Scarecrow, what's Mr. Freeze, Clayface, what those characters will look like, and have a 8 episode mini series just around that. Um, I'm getting too much into the weeds here. Um, the show starts off pretty much right after the Batman. I think like a week or so after, and at the end of the Batman, it does kind of set up for this show a little bit, just like one line where the Batman says there's going to be a power grab, and that's not going to look good for Gotham, which it doesn't. And this show is just follows Oz kind of weaseling his way up the ladder to become the Kingpin. The Penguin that we all love and know from the comics. This is very much a origin story, I'd say, for Oz Cobb, um, and it's so well done. There's the writing in the show is so freaking fantastic, and I'm gonna dive into the other characters here in a second. But the example that sticks out to me for the writing is at the end of episode 1, where the writers essentially, I feel like they write themselves into a corner. Where Oz is caught, and it's the end of episode 1, so we know Oz is not going to bite the bullet. But anyhow, they just find it such an interesting way to pretty much have Oz slip through the cracks and find his way out of that situation. And I think it just goes to show the brilliance of the writing, and the way they write Oz, and the way he it always feels like he's like 10 steps ahead at all times. Like they'll write him into a corner, and we think, okay, that's it, he's caught, it's done, and then he just figures out a way to get out of it. And the character is super super intelligent, um, and even Matt Reeves, he said that too, where he's just a super smart guy, and he knows how to play the Game of Thrones. No, but yeah, so like Oz, he was by far my favorite part of the Batman. So when they announced this show, I was super super excited, and it lived up to my excitement by far, and I would say even surpassed it. And it did that with other characters, Sophia Falcone, Victor, um, Oz's mom, who I'm drawing a blank on her name at the moment. I can't remember her name. They like those four are in my mind like they're the main characters. They're great. Sophia Falcone, I can't remember the actress's name right now. I know her from like How I Met Your Mother, Palm Springs, and going into the show, I didn't have high expectations for her. She's great in the other stuff that I've seen her in. But like this is like a next level of acting, which I'm sure anyone watching this video has either seen the show or heard about her and Sophia Falcone and how well she portrays that character and how she just brings it to the next level. She really steps up to the plate, and all the actors do. But in my mind, it's Sophia and then Oz who are just like top notch. And I hope the actress who plays Sophia at least wins an Emmy, especially for episode 4. Where it just follows her character. Oz is really not in the show at all. And it's so good. Victor, I want to, spoilers, I do want to talk a little bit about his fate. I am sad that he did not make it out. And the show got me. I really thought he was going to be Oz's number 2 guy in the Batman Part 2 and Batman Part 3. I really thought he was going to pull through, and right up until the end, I was like, oh, they're going to do it now. They are going to do it. Like within like the last 2 minutes of screen time, I still was pretty convinced that he was not on the chopping block, but yet he was. So yeah, I mean, this show is just such a, it's so tight knit. It really, by the end of it, it ties up any loose ends, which I really enjoy. It leaves a couple things open, like with Sophia getting a letter from Catwoman, Selena Kyle, and then also Oz is now the Kingpin. There's no one else to rival him. He's the top of the food chain. So I'm excited to see what that looks like in Batman Part 2. I imagine, I don't know, it's weird. I don't imagine Oz as like the main villain of Batman Part 2 or Batman Part 3 or whatever. Like I feel like he's gonna be kind of a side villain always. He may assist it with the other villains and whatnot, but I don't think he will be a full-fledged, like the next Batman film would just be Batman trying to defeat Oz. I don't think it will be like that. But regardless, I'm excited to see what they do with the character. I think if you have not watched this show, please go watch it. I highly recommend it if you have not caught on to that already. And yeah, it's so good. I honestly think I do like this more than the Batman film. I think they have a lot of different things to offer, but ultimately when I think about, okay, which one would I want to rewatch more? I think it's this one by far. It's, to me, 2 shows are a little more digestible, I guess. I can watch a half hour to an hour episode and take a break and whatnot. Whereas a movie, I feel like I'm locked in for like two and a half hours or so, or an hour and a half, whatever. Even though the runtime is 8 plus hours. Ultimately, it just, I don't know. In my mind, shows tend to be what I like to watch and rewatch more than movies for whatever reason. I know. But please go check it out. Leave some comments discussing it. I want to talk about it, and I'm very excited. And yeah, like and subscribe and share or whatever. Whatever you want to do. Peace and love. God bless.